different way than the rest of the Dignitas team did.
Right.
Also, Cloudnguyen is still in tryouts. Like, this is a continuation of his tryout in the LCS environment. Not much more Dignitas could do when a player steps down so abruptly. But I've seen this situation happen across many different games where if a team loses a player or gets rid of a player that they did not trust, a lot of times that distrust was bringing everybody down. So if they get Cloudnguyen in and they're suddenly on the same page, everyone else will just start playing better, even if that player's worse than the previous guy. Because it's a confidence change, it's a mindset shift, and they're huge underdogs with no expectations anymore. So there's a lot of room for Dignitas to perform in this game.
Yeah, put it all out on the field. Why not? Obviously, getting your jungler is not going to tell the other team too much. We already have Jarvan banned out here. You may see Santorin. Actually, I was going to say pick up the Lee Sin. But what will they decide? Bjergsen is the one, obviously, that they'll round out with on the purple side. So we'll probably leave him for last. I would imagine Dyrus and Lustboy grabbing something here, if not a jungler. But that's already on the board.
And now we have to wonder if Santorin's been practicing any jungle nidalee himself. It saw some dominating play in the European LCS.
You have to have a dark side
to play jungle nidalee. Yeah, well, Santorin seems very adaptive to what Bjergsen needs. And jungle nidalee is not the type of jungler who will be able to babysit a mid lane very well, or at least have his back for his aggressive plays. So you'd think not. You'd think nidalee wouldn't be highly prioritized here from TSM.
Yeah. Well, that's what we kind of see Santorin doing, is helping the team out. Almost criticized for it because that's just the way he fell into the team with everybody playing so strong in those solo lanes. But yeah, he has quite the kill participation for Team Solomid despite what he's on.
Let's be fair. He plays Jarvan, puts a flag down, get all the assists.
Gets the assists. Why not? Always got to be fair. But the Morgana, Sivir have been locked in for Team Solomid. They're taking their time.
And Morgana here for TSM is a sneakily good pick against Rek'Sai. You wouldn't really think of it that way, but so one thing, when Rek'Sai is tunneling, he's not immune to crowd control, so he can come out of the tunnel and be bound if you hit him with that. Additionally, he relies on the knock-up in order to actually get auto attacks off. If you black shield the person that he's even near when he's underground, he becomes ridiculously kiteable. But this is actually cool. That's a top lane Rek'Sai.
That is a top lane Rek'Sai. We're going to see Gamsu taking that and bringing something new here for us into the LCS in North America. We'll have to see if he can really put up numbers. Like we said, they could go for broke on this one, right? Nothing they're really trying to prove here. They're trying to get the new team together. We'll see what they can get on the Rift with this composition. Could be a Kalista for Wildturtle. That actually went through the ban phase without being touched.
Unless Dignitas thought that Santorin was going to pick away Vi, they're really losing the mind game there of having a Rek'Sai. Nobody has played Rek'Sai top lane in the NALCS, and everybody plays him jungle, so TSM would have been picking around that. Now they know they're picking into a top lane Rek'Sai, which just makes things worlds easier for TSM. Surprising that Dignitas held off so heavily on a support pick to reveal their jungler.
Dyrus goes for another Maokai here. Shiphtur has been doing well on Azir, something that gets banned out quite a bit against Dignitas. And maybe actually be the Cassiopeia deciding what to do. I'm interested to see what Dyrus has for his top lane matchup. Obviously playing Maokai, but has he played against the Rek'Sai? Is it going to take him by surprise? A lot of things to look at in this matchup here as we round out the rest of the picks and bans. Corki's been finding a lot of play. I don't think we'll see another 80 carry, though. I think we're going to get a mid laner out of this
Is he going mid? Shiphtur has been practicing.
That's so true. Yeah. You're actually right. Oh, man. The Azir is just too powerful, along with that long range of Corki. So they are going to lock those in. And we'll see KiWiKid with them actually banning out the Annie here in fear of Lustboy picking that up. He goes for Thresh. And will he do it?
Well, Bjergsen did have a 46-kill solo queue game on LeBlanc.
48?
48?
Yeah.
I lost count at some point.
There were a lot. I actually didn't finish it. I was like, it's just going to start getting crazy from here. He could do it, though.
Anything really on the board. Xerath is a relatively popular pick against that, but it does look like with the Sivir Maokai, TSM is going to want to be able to hard engage people. It would work pretty well, though. Maokai holding people down for the Xerath ultimates or Twisted Fate combo that. There's a lot of option here for Bjergsen in this last pick.
I wouldn't doubt the TF could be the one. His play style is much like when he first approached the North American LCS. Very high in making plays, brings a little solo QS back to his LCS stage game, but it's going to be the Xerath lock-in after all, even with that hover on being talked about to the team, so they stay safe on this as well. We've seen some great Xerath plays across the board in any region. So this is going to be a tough matchup for Shiphtur in the mid lane.
And I've always liked Bjergsen Xerath in games that he doesn't necessarily have to hard carry himself. He's so good at that champion, especially in the laning phase. It'll be a fun matchup between Shiphtur's Azir and Bjergsen Xerath here. More so, it's just look at the Dignitas communication there. Cloudnguyen saying a lot here to the rest of the team. I really wonder how they're going to respond to this, or how nervous he actually is. Dyrus was joking with him in the team lobby, said, trying to help him out a little, don't forget your masteries.
Don't forget those.
Cloudnguyen said thank you. I checked, he has 3 mastery pages already pre-made. Most pro players actually only have 1 mastery page because they like to make it live every time they lock in a champion. But yeah, Cloudnguyen should have masteries.
He should. And he should be able to play this one strong. We actually saw him talking with Gamsu there as the coaches head off the stage. He was pointing up. They were pointing up. So maybe we'll get a little Cloudnguyen to the top lane and helping out Gamsu there on the top Rek'Sai. Well, the teams load in. Tweet who you think will come out ahead by sending hashtag DIGWin or hashtag TSMWin to @LOLesports. And we'll check in shortly to see how the fan vote stands. And I'm excited to see how this top lane works out all game, because Dignitas, we were wondering, you know, are they going to come out this week very strong? We don't know that yet, but we know they're already bringing flavor to the table.
Yeah, this is one of those over 90% fan votes online as well for TSM.
Right.
Heavily favored in this match. Very low expectations on Dignitas. And TSM obviously starting the season 3-1 with some impressive victories last week over Winterfox and Team Liquid. On paper, this should be a very one-sided game for TSM.
Yep. And their one game they lost against Team A, it was perfect shockwaves. It's not something you can get away from, so it's kind of like winning the lottery there to have them get hit by every one of those that game to lose out. So I don't think they're going to let that happen again. As we see a little bit of back and forth in the mid lane, we'll expect to see quite a bit of that as the teams pan out. We did see a little bit of rotation, all of the members here hanging out in the brush for Team Solomid down in the mid.
We'll get you guys the news on why we're paused as shortly as possible. Does look like Cloudnguyen has a slight issue.
I forgot my masteries.
Not true. I'm going to check,
Not
actually.
true.
I'm going to check.
Oh, yeah, you can actually see in character screen.
Oh, no, the pause screen covers it up.
Foiled.
Yeah. Actually, what had happened is Cloudnguyen's mini-map was on the wrong side of the screen. Now, that is a toggleable option, but they are allowing him to fix it, obviously.
Yeah.
Just got to switch it over, and then we should be able to get back in the game.
Man, what game would do that? JK. So we're not even that far into this one. It's only really been mid that's seen each other so far. So both teams are still probably going to stick to that initial strategy.
The defensive board strategy? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, just in general of still pushing in. I don't think they're going to back out here or be kind of deterred of the pause.
Oh, yeah.
They should still keep going. So now chatting with the team as they are back to live, and we're going to get this game going. So nothing too big. Nobody going to walk into a bush that has a whole team in it. But Dignitas is going to be the other side. So it looks like they'll do the same thing. Mirror each other at least to start here.
Ooh. So there was a ping that
besides that
went down on a TSM. Does seem like everyone will be A-okay. Although CoreJJ put himself in a pretty scary situation. Yep, just lane swap scouting wards here. One thing you'd want to do against a player in his first LCS game, jungling decision-making becomes pretty complex when you're in a lane swap. So if I were TSM, I'd actually want to lane swap these guys. And it's something TSM has been wanting to work on as well. After their week 1 game against Cloud9, even though TSM won that match, they thought their lane swapping was really bad. And they've been working on it ever since. Oh, nice little damage there by CoreJJ.
Well, lot of people have been using that brush to get some extra damage on. We've actually seen in the LCK that teams will walk down and put a lane brush ward in to stop that from happening.
Well, you kind of need to, because that's the spot where AD carries need to go to freeze the lane in the first place.
Yeah, true.
So it's really dangerous, actually, to go up and tank those minions if there could be enemies there.
Saw it even last game as well. So help to the junglers to start this one off on both sides. That means they're going to be jungling laterally instead of around their own. Dyrus to teleport to the top lane, and we get to see how this plays out. Gamsu will only have a few CS lead, so it shouldn't give him an upper hand in levels too much as Dyrus approaches with level 2.
Exactly. I mean, he's Maokai. He got to do a camp early on in the game. Gamsu tried to shove the lane, so he's level 2 at around the same time. This could be interesting. There is a flash.
Well, they were pointing to the top lane pre-game. I don't know if he'll blow flash here. I think he's just going to try to do what he can. He's going to save it. That'd be the smart play. It's just a walkabout. They're getting information, possibly playing some stuff. I got to give credit to Dyrus, though. He has lived a lot longer than I thought he would in this situation. Who are they going to deliver it to? Give Gamsu the kill. Yeah, all right. That's what it looks like when 3 level 2s are trying to kill somebody.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, Cloudnguyen got the kill for Gamsu, but look at what they've given up. Santorin now
all day.
Just going to try and do the same thing to CoreJJ, a level 1 Corki with no Valkyrie.
Oh, ignited to start. The TP coming in, actually. Gamsu has a level 2 kill off of that. Whoa, he comes in very, very low. Turtle's getting hit up. He's going to go down. The heal. He saves himself immediately. The tether was just about to fire. A game of milliseconds right now to start it off.
Wow. So both teams successfully tower diving.
Just off the sword.
But who got the bigger lead is what we're going to have to find out here. Gamsu's going to get all this farm at the turret because of the teleport down. And Cloudnguyen is actually catching up on farm by taking the top lane wave.
Right.
That
very nice.
He had given. So this is still advantage Dignitas, even though that really long gank they threw on to Dyrus. That's now a level 4 Vi against a level 2 Lee Sin on the other side.
Really great job by Gamsu there to stop that from pretty much happening over and over. Dyrus as well, keeping himself tanky in the top lane for that early part. I don't know how he lived so long, but we've already seen that both of these teams want to try to get themselves a lead. I like it. I want to see more of it. A pickaxe to start off here for Gamsu in the lane. And it looks like Dyrus is just going for some consumables.
Tiamat/Ravenous Hydra is a really core item on the top lane Rek'Sai. Now, this is something that I thought we were going to see much sooner, but it was just so overpowering in the jungle beforehand, as Wildturtle gets a black shield, is I think top lane Rek'Sai is better than jungle Rek'Sai, because he still provides the same amount of map presence, but he can get much more farm in that top lane. It was even better before the damage on his Q was taken down so much. I actually haven't seen it that much since the nerfs, since that was one of the big things that gave him the edge, is that he was just too good in straight-up melee duels, so anyone who walked in range of Rek'Sai would just instantly lose the trade. It's not as true now, but with the early kill, he might be able to assert some dominance on Dyrus. We'll just have to see.
So true. She just shreds you apart, and like you were saying, more farm, almost has a double teleport if she keeps those tunnels in lane, so never really missing that CS, as you were saying, and can do this.
And apologies to everyone if I call Rek'Sai a male again. She is a she.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, she is a queen. Her skills are all named after queens.
Yeah, this is true.
How could I possibly get that wrong?
Cloud thinking that something may be happening in the bottom lane. He's just playing very safe for himself now. Wow. Good damage coming out of Gamsu there. Dyrus has to be pretty careful, but he's also getting those heals himself off of all the spells that Gamsu's firing off. So he should help, or it should help him to keep sustained. Looks like it's going to be left in this bottom lane. Wynn backs off to do Gromp, or Krugs, I should say. But we are going to have Santorin now towards the top. He's on Krugs. You see the 85?
Yeah, even the Twitter vote is super heavily on TSM's side. And yeah, this is the sustain the top lane Rek'Sai has. He just has to auto-attack a few creeps, go underground, heal up again. Maokai has pretty good sustain in lane as well. So, not much you can do to push Gamsu out of that lane. But it will all depend on whether Gamsu can actually get a good tunnel network up. because that's when the pressure really starts going in, when he never has to go back to base. So what top lane Rek'Sai can do is he'll teleport bottom lane and then just ult back top lane with a tunnel network, never losing presence. That's the biggest thing that Rek'Sai has. He just applies a lot of pressure and presence to the game.
It's definitely something that Dyrus will have to be aware of. You realize back in history, Dyrus would have a little bit of trouble with those teleports, and now he has to work with even more trouble in that area. Turtle on the bottom lane. There were some pings just recently from Dignitas onto Lustboy when he was hanging out in the brush, but they have not actually gone on it too hard.
Yeah, I would say the bottom lane is swinging a little bit in favor of Wildturtle. Bjergsen is doing the farm thing on Xerath. That's early game against Azir. Not much more you can do.
Whoa! Oh, they doubled up the shield as well. They may be able to get the crowd control that they wanted after this. Great job by Lustboy to beat the human shield there, but the play still hits. There's the summoner heal. He just got it back from saving himself earlier. This time he goes down. It could, however, be Lustboy coming up big on this one. The siege minion helping CoreJJ could give him the upper hand. I don't think Lustboy can follow within these minions, and they trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, getting a kill onto CoreJJ is probably worth it at the end of the day. KiWiKid, forever the martyr for his team when he decides to go in on those crazy initiations. Very aggressive, very risky play, honestly, because Lee Sin could have arrived for a counter gank at any moment, but he did not, and they get a 1 for 1.
Luckily indeed. Good play by Dyrus. Really a top laner that has that sixth sense, and he can keep himself safe. So they are definitely putting a little bit more focus on Gamsu than any of the other lanes here for Dignitas, trying to get that Rek'Sai going to be a big factor in these team fights. It's going to be tough for him. It'll be interesting to see how he does get into the team. You're going to have long-range poke, you're going to have Lustboy crowd controlling you. So this pick, very interesting from Dignitas. And we're also kind of seeing them grow as a new team here. So anything could be from them. Oh, Turtle again, taking a lot of pressure from CoreJJ. A little bit of different style of play from him this game as well.
Dignitas definitely seems to be taking more risks, which is something that they were unwilling to do.
That shield should be down.
Yep. Oh, if any of those spells landed, they may have had him. But to get back to that, Crumbs was very much about vision first. And the team wasn't necessarily good at getting the vision behind him and overly passive in many different situations. Whereas here, we've already seen from some bottom lane tendencies that vision, while important, isn't completely necessary to make a play. Risk needs to be taken for this Dig team. And in the laning phase, it's keeping them pretty even. Here, they don't even sweep far around the Dragon Pit. They don't have the big-time pink ward coverage, just one pink ward in front of the Dragon. All right, Dragon itself is not warded. Let's do it. And because TSM was not in position to react, even though TSM had vision of it, it gives Dignitas a Dragon.
TSM may not be too worried about that. They'll look to gain some later in the game, but Dignitas making some good moves. You see Skirmisher Saber actually being picked up by Cloudnguyen here onto Vi. I've seen that a few times in the European LCS. Not too many junglers have gone for that item, though.
Yeah, it's one of those, you almost think of it like a win more situation. If Cloudnguyen lands his Vault Breaker onto someone and then smites them, he's just going to win that fight regardless, but with the smite, he's going to do even more damage.
Cloudnguyen.
Yeah, Cloudnguyen with the win more item. But really, I'm surprised he didn't get the Chilling Smite. It almost guarantees that the Q lands on Vi. It is by far the most common pick. Maybe he's just worried about some really close duels he's planning on having later in the game against Wildturtle. And he's going to need to diminish Wildturtle's damage.
He can still swap it as well. He hasn't finished that piece up. Still always go back to it if he wants to. We'll see what Shiphtur's trying to get in here. This is the control now. They're trying to use it and gain an advantage. Oh sneaky Santorin right into Bjergsen, but looks like he could save himself here. Cloudnguyen gets out safely. Oh, one more shot. Still going down. Bjergsen keeps himself alive, and Shiphtur can't put out the damage necessary just yet. He's now got himself in a bad spot, but Dark Passage to the light. KiWiKid helps him out.
Definitely a much more active Dignitas team than we've seen yet this season.
Just a bit.
The deep jungle invade there by Shiphtur, who goes all in to try and save Cloudnguyen in the jungle. It doesn't quite work out. Bjergsen outplayed there with the help of Santorin, and they end up getting the 1 kill.
I don't know about this fight. Dyrus have to force the flash. It's going to be the flash from Gamsu. He should be able to finish this one off, and he does so. Dyrus, I kind of saw that coming in the beginning, but he still tried to take the fight.
Jeez, and that was with Gamsu sitting on 2,000 gold. He's going to be coming
scary.
back with a whole bunch more damage. We'll see if Rek'Sai gets to have a big impact on this game. Dyrus, that early gank sometimes sets him far behind.
That's true. A lot of times when Team Solomid would be playing against anybody, it'd be Dyrus, pre-6, go after Dyrus, take him down, hurt the team. And it looks like Dignitas is kind of taken to that this game as well. Definitely giving Gamsu a better one at that. We'll see this invade once more.
Yeah, I mean, pretty heady play there by Santorin. He had the scout from smiting it earlier, so they get to see Cloudnguyen, and then being able to queue back over the wall into the Bjergsen stun was huge. And this is where it got really interesting, because Bjergsen landing these spells, I thought when he opened up to ult, Shiphtur was just going to kill him with the soldiers, because Bjergsen ulted straight on top of auto-attacking soldiers, but he knew he had his heal. Bjergsen knew that he had backup coming, and he ended up having to burn his summoners for it, but he secured the kill, and then even burned an extra flash from Shiphtur.
Really, whether it be early or not, his purchase of Scrying Orb helping to secure that kill with fast fingers, putting it over the wall and keeping vision of Cloudnguyen. A little bit more falling in favor of TSM, but it hasn't given them anything in the area of a big gold lead. Only 400 there, still dragging over to Dignitas, and we've seen TSM, I think, what was it, 3 dragons to Cloud9 in game 1, and they were still able to come back. So it's not big to let those go. They're happy to do so. Morellonomicon finished up for Bjergsen. Maybe now with that Athene's finished up, Shiphtur could have put out some big damage. Would have helped a lot in that last fight. Almost.
Definitely a more defensive item build for Shiphtur's Azir there. Needing to respect the poke from Bjergsen. Because basically, even though Morellonomicon is just great on Azir for so many ways, if he gets Maokai rooted and Xerath uses 3 ultimates on him and he has a Morellonomicon, he's instantly dead. And at least he has a little bit of breathing room with the magic resist from Athene's. KiWiKid's throwing out a lot of hooks.
Gonna hit one of them. That's all they want.
And it's gonna be black shielded or spell shielded. Like, that is not a lane where Thresh can be super effective.
It doesn't become easy. You're almost forced to go even harder when you know that that window's down and you may not have the abilities you want to get in. Right now, playing it safe though, 108 to 103. Those guys are good. We do see Cloudnguyen has actually finished on the skirmishes saber item. He didn't switch over. So interesting buy for him. The guy likes to fight. Can't blame him. Even with all this pressure in the mid lane, Bjergsen's been finding himself getting. He is up in CS about 20 there, so keeping it up. He's actually highest at 10 of all the mid laners. Right around 87 CS. Next closest one, I think, is 80, 82.
87 CS at 10 minutes is really high.
Yeah. He's been having a fun time this year. Still waiting for the pressure. Junglers are happy, just going through, farming it up. 56 to 61 in that sense. Not too many big things yet from Cloudnguyen on the Vi, the new jungler for Dignitas here, but definitely new for Dignitas in the way they're revolving around this game and playing their lane matchups. That's going to be the box! What a great play in the bottom lane. Soul Shackles doesn't even connect, and CoreJJ makes a very appropriate Valkyrie out.
Hey, you were saying eventually KiWiKid's going to land one. They get the black shield to be burnt on Wildturtle. KiWiKid lands it, and it's perfect range to pull him into the box, which does much more damage than people expect at rank 1. Enough to burst down Lustboy. 250 magic damage from the box.
Yeah, especially on the support. That's going to sting. Santorin, they're looking for something crazy here. He's just sitting on Raptors. Ward over, and he's going to kick Shiphtur right into his stun. Nope! So shifting sands. Actually,
so that was the plan.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out that way. Shiphtur reacting a little faster. Santorin would have needed the flash kick or something to preempt that.
That's tough, though. Always looks like Azir could be the guy to get, and then he just disappears.
Oh!
Turtle now. Oh, they go for the flash on that one. Oh! He flashes then, but there's just too much lockup. I don't know. I don't care how many shields you got. They got that
time
on
for
point.
A party down there. Great flash by Turtle there to avoid the initial power fits there by Cloudnguyen, but he couldn't avoid the rest of it. He was just ganged up on him. He had no Lustboy for help. This could be another dragon.
Oh, there's the Scrying Orb again, and it comes up big once more.
Well, that makes this dragon a bit of a complication. Teleport's coming in from both teams.
Uh-oh, this is going to be one heck of a fight. Team Solomid looks to be on the upper hand in health bars. Can they organize the damage accordingly? Gamsu gets locked up. He's the one that wants to be free and doing damage right now, but he's forced to run out of this one. And they can still poke even outside the range, so Dignitas can't even stay there to think about Dragon.
Yeah, Bjergsen coming in at just the right time on that Xerath play, being able to finish off Shiphtur as Dignitas was taking the Dragon. That is something that Dignitas couldn't account for. Especially for Cloudnguyen, who's coming in as a fresh shot caller. It was a great gank bottom. He's like, all right, perfect. You know, Lee Sin's around. He used his ult mid earlier. Let's go do this. And the mid laner just dies while trying to get a catch. I think the team may have been going in there, but even with the flash being burned, getting hit by both non-flashed Xerath ultimates, it's just a prediction dance. You gotta do the safety dance, and Shiphtur was unable to.
Yeah, looking at that, I thought he was going to come down river and take out Lustboy, but he 1v1 Bjergsen, who he's actually been not winning 1v1s against all game. A little different.
Soul Stealer for Bjergsen this early on in the game.
I actually looked at the supports when you said that, so yeah, that's a little different.
A couple things about Soul Stealer.
Feeling good.
Because Rockhat is a team who's been doing a lot of it. Nuke Ducks built multiple Soul Stealers. They built Soul Stealer on Jungle Nidalee. When you buy it, it is actually not a bad purchase. It's just under gold efficiency. So as long as Bjergsen decides to stay safe and is trying to capitalize on his edge that he has right now, it can turn out to be a really, really important purchase. But it's nothing if not a risky one still. Like, it's not as bad as it used to be, where it would start with no stacks. Now that it starts with 5 stacks, it's decent amount of power. It delays his other core items like a Void Staff or a Death Cap, which is the bigger investment.
We'll see what happens. TSM is creating and keeping those options open with some forward wards, so Bjergsen can start to stack that, assists or kills. It looks like Dignitas of old, dictating the quick mid lane turret there when they have the chance. TSM knew it was eventually going to go down, so they're appropriately trying to push these side lanes here. They're going to have Wildturtle go back to the top lane. At this point, usually mid-game for him is Farm Fest. Let's see what CoreJJ can get himself up to as well. They look to drop the bottom lane here as we're 5-4, just coming up on 20 minutes, and definitely a different Dignitas. These guys are looking better.
It's true.
And it's good to see.
Yeah. The road to recovery maybe starts here for Dignitas because they were looking awful in their first few weeks.
Right.
But they appear to be more on the same page and willing to take risks, which is honestly more punishable of a play style. But if it works for you, it works for you. Many more hooks thrown out from KiWiKid. They seem to be playing with a bit more freedom here for sure.
They might be able to push him out this next one and grab the wave.
Good old Team Dignitas. They're sticking right with TSM here. It's going to really hinge on whether Bjergsen gets these kills coming through. Unfortunately as well for Team Dignitas, Gamsu is going to start falling behind. He didn't provide a huge amount of map presence outside of that one kill. Got a bit of a turret race going on here though. Azir in the mid lane, 3 people in the bottom lane for Dig.
Well, we know Azir can take down turrets quite fast. Looks like TSM will decide to give up a little bit to make this happen. We thought this game would actually start with Cloudnguyen taking a lot of aggression in his jungle, being the new player. But Dignitas has kind of avoided that and now getting a game of what they want. Dropping that last inner turret on the bottom side of the map. They gain a little bit more control. Definitely helps their team being pick-oriented with that Vi, with those hooks coming in. They can get the wards necessary now.
3 turrets down. And surprisingly, the top lane turret from Rek'Sai, the only one yet to fall, even with his massive turret network.
He can get up there, but they've made sure somebody's actually always been up there as well. You might have tunnels all over the place, but they know what it looks like. Now moving in, TSM thinks they can get a little bit off of this, knowing Dignitas just dropped one of their turrets. They're using these windows quite well to just walk safely. Missing some pink wards though, so Dignitas is actually privy to this information of their jungle being completely warded out. Scrying orb as well onto Wildturtle, maybe for assistance onto Bjergsen's ultimates as well. We'll see what Dig can do to kind of set up a defense now. This will be TSM really putting them to the test. A minute and 30 onto Dragon. And that could be Team Solomid for number 2.
Oh, Charging up. They were hoping for some ward invades by TSM there. Trying to preempt a TSM invade, but most of this is just going to be set up.
Cash
5
money.
gold at a time.
Yep.
Clearing those Rek'Sai tunnels. Just enough gold to make you feel good, not enough to matter.
That's right. And purple Fruit Loops are the best ones. Delicious. So, good clearing by TSM. I love these ward battles that starts out before the dragon. Who's got better ward game, man? And one. TSM looks like they're going to be able to set up push control at least. So, this is going to be hard for Dignitas to walk into this fight, especially with Bjergsen on the outside.
If anything, Dignitas needs to be able to parlay this into a turret of some kind. They can Rek'Sai ult down if they want to, which would force Dyrus to teleport. And then, if TSM would end up winning the fight, then teleport back to the top lane. But TSM beat him to the punch. Ooh. Timely flash, but now that's down.
Only makes things harder. Dignitas, one thing that's definitely happening better for them this game is the kills are on the right people. It's not KiWiKid picking it up on Annie. Definitely helping them to stay in these fights.
TSM really wants to poke with Bjergsen first. Bjergsen cannot get initiated on. If that would have landed,
what?
Now the Sivir ult, there's a flank potentially as well. Big fight coming in.
He maybe didn't take it because of the spell shield that Lustboy could have given him. Cloud goes back in once more. Wildturtle, he actually ults him on the shield there and hardly takes any damage. TSM getting the fight that they want. They dive back in. There's the right of the Arcane, only doing a bit of spread damage. Turtle's able to zone one more out. Shiphtur and Gamsu are just running back and forth, helping each other, but also trying to disengage in a chaotic fight. Team Solomid loses no one.
That Soul Stealer too, 11 stacks after that fight from Bjergsen. The fight just went right for TSM right there. Black shielding the Vi ultimate as planned. Maokai's target getting bursted by the Xerath just as designed. And TSM able to take the Baron after a very decisive fight in the mid lane.
Picture perfect use of all the skills necessary. Very low, oh dear.
I mean,
they're good. Baron at 24.
This is one of the differences between a team that has been playing together for a while and a team that just picked up a jungler. I mean, KiWiKid immediately burned. Cloudnguyen trying to get the right initiation. I'm sure they had planned, all right, everyone burst the target I hit, but it just didn't work out that way. The tank came in from the backside from TSM, locking down onto Dignitas' priority targets.
Right.
Gamsu and Cloud could not go in together, which is what's required when you're running dive buddies like that. And Bjergsen just blew people up from the back. He is now, this is the benefit of the Soul Stealer when it goes well, at 690 ability power, 24 minutes into the game.
He is definitely going to be putting out some power. They also have the ability to use these baroned up minion waves, so it's going to be hard now that Dignitas kind of gets strung out thin across their the outside of their turrets. That's going to be Dyrus dropping one down, and the team just pretty much closing in to finalize the job. Rabadon's Morello's finished up for him. Still have Shiphtur trying to build up and get himself going as well. Getting harder for Dignitas. You kind of see the mid-game flip that you were just talking about, where these teams that have been there many, many times can just kind of turn it on, see that advantage they have, and take it. And TSM is starting to run with that.
Yeah. There's just such a gargantuan difference between Bjergsen's power level and the power level of everyone else in this game right now. Yes, Shiphtur is a more utility-based build with the Stinger, but just for some perspective, that Azir has 143 ability power right now, compared to the 693 from Xerath. That is over 4 times the amount of ability power on the enemy mid laner, 26 minutes into the game.
This is what he was doing. You were saying in solo queue, he got 48 kills. He may not reach 48 here, but he's definitely putting on a show. And he definitely knows how to keep it going when he is ahead in the game. That's one thing Bjergsen can do, is just create highlights left and right. Dignitas really knows that they can't protect these turrets with that power we've been talking about coming from Bjergsen. The rest of the team as well had pretty good laning phase to come out, and now they are just starting to drop these turrets. I wondered how long it would be before they just started to break the outer phase.
It's with the Baron buff. They got it early enough in the game. Dignitas doesn't have the team fight potential, and the hardest turrets to crack are the ones right in front of the base. There's a bunch of low-hanging fruit for TSM to go and pick and get a bunch of gold here. So this Baron buff is really just about TSM getting a stranglehold on this game.
Yep. a big stranglehold as well. Even when a team with an Azir starts to really lose a position on the map, they can set up a turret, kind of regain ward control, but those turrets would just be dangerous for Dignitas to stand around right now. We haven't even really seen the Sun Disc be used because they don't have that control.
I think it got used once in the mid lane, shortly then killed by TSM. So the turret counter at the top is still inaccurate in Azir games. I've been assured that that will be fixed next patch. So it's still a spectator-only bug. Does not affect Fantasy, LCS, or anything like that.
No. Thank you, Base Riot. Keeping it safe. So TSM putting the final touches on the outer turrets in the game. Really one of the more organized teams we see when they have a lead. TSM will pressure that and do things quite calculated and accordingly. Waiting for the wave. They don't seem to get antsy or put themselves in a bad situation. Bjergsen using that power from the outside, just pretty much 15% chunks coming off the health bars. And Gamsu finally grabbing that top turret.
Yeah, and those are shots through the turret shield as well. Indefensible turret there for Dignitas, losing their 6th turret of the game.
So they are going to have to react to Gamsu. He's got some damage and he can take down these turrets. Also can Void Rush back. Maybe this is where it starts to come into play, where they can spread Team Solomid out thin. They just have to be careful they don't catch a 5v4, because that's going to look pretty grim right now. Coming up on 30 minutes.
I think he's going to sell out for this turret.
Oh, will he? Burrow!
Yeah.
Burrow to safety.
Alt away. Dyrus.
Wait.
I think Dyrus was saving his ground control. Yeah, Dyrus was always saving his arcane smash just in case Gamsu tried to ult away. And he's done.
Oh, plays! The plays.
Sapling for the vision. He's a pretty fast Rek'Sai, though. This might be a fight!
Oh, he can pull him in the team! That's the flash! The Soul Shackle comes in, and they may have just baited themselves into a fight that they don't want, trying to protect Gamsu. What a run he had, but it was finally stopped. Arcane coming out, and he just dodges the last one. Shiphtur gets out safely this time. But man, what a fight, and it just shows TSM's catch power as well.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the effort there from Dignitas. Gamsu, really hard man to kill there on Rek'Sai, but even when Azir came in for a beautiful wall against this side of the map, there just isn't enough damage out from the rest of the Dignitas team, and far too much from TSM. Sivir ult, Sivir Ricochet, and of course, the now 13-stack Soul Stealer Xerath.
Pretty effective, that health gain. Spirit Visage on Rek'Sai as he dives into the ground. Kept him alive. Very tricky. He does get taken down, though. Flash was burned on that, so it's going to be hard for him to get in and do a Rek'Sai initiation that we see a lot. Now he can somewhat just be walked away from. Becomes a little bit more difficult. We'll leave it up to Dig to get the initiation they want. Maybe these hooks to come out from KiWiKid. They do have a few of the wards necessary to make that happen, but they don't have too many people they can really grab. Yeah. They're going to be shielded, or you're getting a Dyrus, and you don't want that.
And depending on where Bjergsen positions, it's really difficult. Wildturtle has a spell shield. If they could somehow catch Bjergsen and then kill him before he can get his combos out, then maybe they can win the fight, because they just have to deal with the AoE damage that Sivir is putting out. They're pretty impossible scenarios in which Dignitas actually wins a team fight here, though.
So what happens kind of in a perfect world? Does Cloudnguyen get the ult on Bjergsen, or does he have to focus something?
I think in a perfect world, they somehow hook Bjergsen and almost burst him down with Corki, and then they can ult Wildturtle for the shutdown afterwards.
Okay. The hook onto Dyrus. Good amount of damage there. The flash hit. Whoa. They went very hard onto Dyrus. That means Cloudnguyen gets exploded immediately. And the front-end damage that should have gone to a squishy is used on the tank, and Dyrus still stands with just about the same HP. Sun Disc will go out, but it's only going to stop them for a slow time, and that may just be Baron.
Yeah, I think what happened to Cloudnguyen there is Dyrus and Bjergsen were right next to each other, and he ulted the wrong person via misclick.
True.
I think that's what must have happened there. Now they 5-man another Baron. Dignitas going to try and take Dragon as a consolation prize.
That's big, too. Dyrus comes out of base, home guarded on the teleport, so he's completely full health, even if they get rebuttaled on. Dig will pick up the Dragon, try and band-aid what has been happening. So that is on the way to 5, but number 2 isn't really going to change the game for you right now. pick up blue. See this one more time. You're right.
Yeah, look.
I think you're right.
I think he tried to flash and get the knockup on Bjergsen, but Bjergsen was quicker with his reaction time. Kobe's a big-time buy player. He would have said to try and Q and then flash because it'll extend the power fist with your flash, and it's harder to react to as Bjergsen. But who knows? Even if he gets that catch, I still think Dignitas loses the fight. Uh-oh. Run away.
He's still... okay. I was going to say, still quite slowed, and Dyrus could do that quick enough for Santorin to come in. They have a lot of catch, as I was saying before. If Dyrus hits somebody, Santorin safeguards in. Bjergsen from the back, and the speed of Sivir. So Dignitas knows they cannot afford to even be slowed here in these engagements. That's Lustboy. That's huge. That's going to be big. A good flash out, though, as he cannot follow up with the damage.
Oh, man.
They have Santorin on the other side, but it's not going to do him too much here. Even Shiphtur, a little lack of damage as he was not able to get going this game. Good dodges, though. However, now with boots too, and that becomes a little bit easier, but their base is getting taken down. That's what it's all about. Too
little, too late with those dodges. The base gates will not save them against Elysin, and the artillery shots of Xerath. Half a Shiphtur's health with 1 Q.
So Team Solomid working the advantages when they had them, going around the horn here, taking down all the turrets on the map as they now enter the base. This is going to be the second inhibitor to go down. 14-5. We're just 33 minutes in, and they have a 13,000 gold lead. They'll be back soon.
With even more goodies from the item shop.
Yeah.
3 members on TSM sitting at over 1,400 gold.
Bjergsen upgrading his scrying orb, why not? Probably has a bit of extra money to be using now, and a needlessly large rod as well for him as the team exits the base. With Baron down, one last lane, that's going to be top side. It's just past river. Dignitas to answer here. Maybe use this time to set up some wards. One last pick that might be able to change something.
And this game has got to be really nice to watch as a TSM fan. Only because, you know, Bjergsen is on a less traditional Bjergsen champion. He's not on an assassin, but he is still pretty much carrying the game. Able to get kills early. Wildturtle has been successful. Dyrus, despite getting killed a little bit early, did not let it tilt him. He's stayed very successful. Santorin as well. Not the perfect kill participation, but still part of 10 kills in this match. And a pretty quick and crisp close of the game by TSM. Going for the 3rd inhibitor.
Definitely putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Being last pick, rounding out the team, knowing it's going to be somewhat on him.
Jeez.
The right of the arcane, almost right to the face of CoreJJ. He has to flash out of that even after Valkyrie. And it only looks like a matter of time before they take this turret down. Team Solomid looking very strong coming into this game here. Week 3. Just a few more hits. 10-5 in turrets. Means only a few more stand.
Whoa. Okay.
One final in and out. That could start it off. Dyrus is already inside the base here, giving Gamsu hell. They try to dive in. Emperor's Divide pushes everyone around, but TSM can still assess the fight to get the kills that they want. Gamsu is going to be the last one. He's tanky, but he goes down in the end, and it looks like they're going to surpass this one and go right for the Nexus turret. It's a 35.5-minute game as CoreJJ. He's heading for the fountain, and Team Solomid is heading for the Nexus.
Yeah, just a good performance there by TSM. There was some aggression there by Team Dignitas. CoreJJ does pick up a kill on the backside. Oh, man. TSM getting a little bit greedy here.
A little crazy on this one. They're leaving it up to the back line to take down the Nexus. It does go down. And it's going to be 18-6 as Team Solomid takes down Dignitas.
Yeah, not today as far as upsets are concerned.
Right.
Team Dignitas having to overcome a lot of adversity before this game. Their first game with Cloudnguyen, not an entirely disappointing performance. Team Dignitas did show some signs of life with more aggression in the early game, but they just couldn't deal with the expertise from Team Solomid. 2 players on TSM go deathless this match, Santorin and Bjergsen. The dynamic duo of the mid lane, picking up a kill on the 2 of them in a jungle invade counter, and then making the gamble for that Magi Soul Stealer that just crushed the rest of the game, reaching 20 stacks by the end of it.
Yeah, who would have thought that it literally was going to be the next 5-on-5 fight that he either got all kills and all assists from? That's exactly what you don't want to have happen when the Soul Stealer comes out on your...
The Soul Stealer dream. It's like, if I build this item, I'm just going to get a bunch of kills. And it actually happened.
A bunch of kills indeed. And I'd mentioned it before, we do see that Dignitas is showing signs of life. But we compare them, you know, to some of the new teams coming in here. Look at the mid laners. Bjergsen, Slushy being new. These guys that make plays. I think Dignitas needs that from the mid lane. Shiphtur is there, and usually we see him getting the triple kills, but at the end of the fight, I think they need to put their foot forward and just be Dignitas again. Take the fights from some of the solo lanes and not just on the support engage.
Well, if there's anything about Team Dignitas, it's when fans lose the most hope in them is when they suddenly start performing as well. It is a long LCS season as well. We'll see if they decide to go with Cloudnguyen as the jungle. But, I mean, the story here is really more about Team Solomid. And they are now temporarily alone in first place. 4-1 in the NALCS. CLG will play later today to try and match that. Gravity, of course, lost the first match of the day. And it's maybe this new look TSM. They didn't look great at IEM San Jose, but that doesn't matter when you get to the NALCS season.
And a lot of